Sourdough discard. This is one of the things I think most people are the most confused about. So technically you never have to discard. It's not like discarding it makes the starter more healthy. The reason we discard is that if you are not baking all of the time, then you are always feeding it more and more if it's at room temperature, and then you accumulate too much. So to discard means that you're not continuing to grow more. So if you have this little jar of starter and you fed it, and then you decided you didn't want to bake, so the starter sat around for a day, and then you come back and you say, all right, I want to bake today. If you have 100 grams of starter in that jar and you have to feed it a 1-1-1 to bake, because the general rule of thumb is we don't feed it less than is already in the jar. So you're not going to feed your 100 grams of starter 25 grams of water and 25 grams of flour. You want to feed it at least equal amounts or more. So if you have your 100 grams and you only need 100 grams for your loaf you want to bake today, the reason you're discarding is because you don't need to make 300 grams for your loaf that you're baking that day. It keeps us from having too much starter. That's also the reason why I encourage you to keep a very small jar, because if you only have a little bit, you have to discard less. So essentially, you only discard when feeding the amount that you have will give you too much. You discard so that you're not growing too much starter. It has nothing to do with keeping the starter healthy. If you only have a small amount of starter and then you feed it up to make what you need to bake with, use almost all of it, feed it again, and repeat that process, and you're always baking with the amount you have, you won't ever discard. Discarding is when you have too much and you don't want to feed that amount and continue creating too much starter. I hope that makes sense. Please ask me any questions that you have about discard in the comments, and I will try to answer your questions.